morning, my name is Mattheis and I'm going to present the project ARREAR.
So could you briefly introduce yourself for the persons who may not yet know you?
Yes, of course. So hi everyone, my name is Mattheis. I'm an associate researcher here at the Institute for European Studies at the ULB. And I mainly work on comparative regionalism and interregionalism, in particular in Africa and relations between the EU and Africa.
Could you present us the Jean Monnet project you are working on and its aims?
Yes, so the Jean Monnet project is a co-coordinated project between myself and my colleague Elisa Lopez-Lucia in joint collaboration also with Marine Nyongenon as an associated researcher to the project. So this is a 2-year project for which we got funding from the European Union to do mainly activities. It's hosted here at the Institute for European Studies, and during that time the main idea is to cover the new trends in EU-Africa relations. So ARREAR stands for a reassessment of the relationship between the EU and African regionalisms. So this is what we're looking into. How is the relationship between the EU on one side and the multiple regional organizations, regional agreements, the Economic Community of Western African States, the African Union, etc. How is this changing? We feel this is a moment where a lot of things are happening, and so during those 2 years, the main idea is to create dialogue between academics with policymakers on this topic.
And what do you like the most about working on this project?
Well, certainly what's been particularly pleasant is the teamwork. So I've got great colleagues with Elisa and Amandine. It's been great to complement each other and also to expand our networks, but also getting a lot of support from the institute. So our president has been quite supportive of the project. So this is certainly already a big plus to be part of a very vibrant team, but also, of course, expanding the network, getting to know more people, working on areas where I'm not a specialist in, such as the Sahel region, where I've really learned a lot of new insight.
What are the key takeaways from each webinar?
So we've had, over the last few weeks, we've had a series of 3 webinars, all under the overall topic of divergence and convergence in the relationship between the EU and Africa. And so we focused a lot on the new trends, on the hot topics that are happening at this moment. So the first one was on the EU Sahel strategy, the Sahel, which became over the last few years one of the main geographic focus areas of the European Union. The second webinar was on the post-Cotonou agreement that has just been signed at the end of last year, which is going to govern the trade and development aid relationship with most African countries for the next 20 years. So that's also a big change happening. And then the third webinar was on the changing regional security coalitions that we see happening at the moment. So not only in the Sahel, but also most recently the discussions about how to intervene in Mozambique, where there've been a civil war going on for some time, and how the EU will become engaged with whom are going to be their regional partners. And I think all 3 webinars were really quite fascinating, because we got experts working on different topics. So I'll also encourage you to watch them if you have a chance. We have the recording on the website here. And the main takeaway for me from all of those 3 webinars was how rapidly the regional configurations are changing. We used to be in a period where we've had, for longer periods of time, we've had the same regional partners, and what we see over the last few years is there's a multiplication, that regional delineations are very fluid, that there's constantly new projects, new demarcations of what is the optimal region to work with in order to solve a particular problem is changing very rapidly, and so we need to keep track on that.
And what's next for ARREAR?
So ARREAR's main activities are events. So obviously we've been a bit hampered. We couldn't do the events that we were originally planning last year with the the pandemic's restrictions. So these three webinars were the first step towards a bigger event that we've been postponing, but we do hope to hold towards the end of this year or early next year, which will be a larger conference, a policy dialogue to be hosted hopefully here at the Institute for European Studies and not virtually as we've done so far. And this would be a larger conference bringing together both academics but also European and African policymakers on the topic.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.